There are around about 20,000 under 25s in prison today. Most of them have been written off or have written themselves off, and within a year of their release, 7 out of 10 will be back behind bars. That's not okay. I think it's time that the church did something about it and said, look, we can help here. Reflex exists to empower young people to break the cycle of offending and reoffending by giving them the character and the confidence and the opportunities they need to make it in life.
What I want you guys to achieve by the end of this project is to have made your own track.
There's 3 main things that we do. We do outreach, which is detached youth work. We have the freedom to move around the prison and to talk to the young people. We do education, which is life skills education, character development, music and theatre courses. And then we do mentoring, both inside and through the gate, through our partner organisations, where we can link people with young offenders leaving prison. They can begin to mentor them on the outside.
I'm getting a lot of stick as well off the lads.
Reflex wants churches to get involved because they've got the heart, the people, the time, and they've got the skills to make a real difference in the lives of young offenders.
5 key areas of development: personal, social, emotional, intellectual and spiritual.
The goal is to see an outreach worker in every prison in the UK. So as the young people move around the system from prison to prison, they can recognise the badge on the uniform and they go, yes, I know you, I can talk to you and I want to open up to you.
Right, so first verse is talking about the past.
It's so rewarding to work with these young people and begin to see that flicker of hope come back and return to them, and for them to look at something they've done and go, what, did I do that? Yeah, wow, that's amazing. And then refusing to write themselves off anymore and daring to hope that they can do something in their lives.
That's amazing, that's well done. Thank you very much. And we're based in 13 prisons around the country. My role is to support the 14 Reflex outreach workers and 41 volunteers on the front line of delivery, engaging with young offenders. And we're really blessed this afternoon to have 2 of our my Reflex colleagues here this afternoon. And I'm going to just chat to both of them now and hopefully share a little bit about the sort of things that we're getting up to. First of all, Joe, you're based in Holloway Prison here in London. Just tell us a little bit, what drew you into prison ministry in the first place?
It was actually a film that I watched when I was 14, but it was an 18, so I shouldn't have been watching it. It's a film called Dead Man Walking. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it's an incredible film, which is a true story about a nun who sort of acted as a spiritual mentor to a guy who was on death row, sort of up until his death. And for some reason, I watched that film as a 14-year-old and thought, wow, that's an amazing ministry to have. I really hope that's what God calls me to. And so from there now, I was sort of looking for opportunities to get involved.
That's great. And so first of all, you got involved with some prisons up in the northeast, and you've gradually moved south and looking for those opportunities. Just tell us a little bit then, what do you actually do in Holloway? You're a Reflex outreach worker. What does that entail on a day-to-day basis?
So I'm based with the chaplaincy on the day-to-day basis, and I guess my role sort of has 3 main areas. So I'm involved in doing outreach, both on the wings. I'm sort of looking out mainly for the women who are 24 and under. So I'll sort of go visit them on the wings, see how they're doing, build relationships with them. And also with the prison officers, I'll always try and sort of stay and have a chat to them while they're doing their really long shifts, and also support the chaplaincy where they need it, because they've always got loads to be doing. And then I work as a group facilitator on Sycamore Tree course that Prison Fellowship ran, and I know there's a lot of other Sycamore Tree volunteers here today representing. So in Holloway, that runs about twice a year when we get funding for it. And then my main role really is developing these character development courses. They're called My Life, and there's a series of courses based on all different areas that young people have expressed an interest in learning more about. So the main one I run is called Managing Emotions, and so I deliver that one-to-one with the women on the wings, and it's just a great course, and you really sort of get to know them and help them to sort of process the experiences they've had in their life so far, and then they're able to sort of think about how they want to move forward and sort of change for the better.
Great. And Reflex are in formal partnership with Prison Fellowship, and a lot of our outreach workers, of course, deliver the Sycamore Tree programme and use that as another example of engaging all these young offenders. So, Joe, you must see some sights, you must have some stories. Have you got any kind of moments or stories that you want to share, some encouraging moments from your ministry?
Yeah, there's always, every day is very eventful, as I'm sure everyone knows who's here. Probably the most encouraging sort of journey that I've seen so far has been the young lady who I did the first Managing Emotions course with. She's a young girl, she's 21, and she's sort of 3 years into a life sentence for murder, and she's really decided, like, quite early on in her sentence that she wants to change her behaviour. She's from a really chaotic background. She left school at primary school. I think she only learnt to read and write, actually, when she was in prison. But she's just engaged. She's the first person in Holloway to have got an actual OCR accreditation for this course. And she has engaged so well with it. And she's sort of renowned for having quite a short attention span. And apparently she ends a lot of her probation meetings by saying, "Okay, I'm bored now, I want to finish," and walking out the room. So I was a bit nervous about starting. But the sessions were like 2 hours long, and I'd be like, "Oh, do you want a break?" She was like, "No, let's keep going." And her journey has just been incredible, and her sense of achievement has been the most sort of powerful thing. I delivered her certificate to her this week, and her face just lit up, and she was like dancing around her cell just saying, "I'm so proud of myself," and she's signed up to do loads more now. And so that sense of achievement, those are the moments where you just sort of see their sort of understanding of their self-worth just sort of soar, which is great.
And that sense of achievement is something that often happens for the very first time when in prison. They've been written off as worthless over all of those occasions. So that sense of achievement is a real breakthrough, isn't it, in changing the way they view themselves. Joe, that's great to hear. And one of the programs that that's the My Life program, more information is on our stand. But another program that Reflex deliver and have developed is that called Urban Skills, which is a performing arts-based program, which uses the process of narrative theory to help young offenders tell their story, all the bad stuff, all the way their experiences, their thoughts, their feelings that they've experienced in the past, but reframing them and expressing their hopes for the future, telling their hopes for the future. And that process in of itself is incredibly therapeutic. And I want to interview a colleague of mine called Sam McPherson, who is an urban skills tutor. But in order to do that, we're just going to stand up to do it, because while we're doing that, we're just going to clear the stage, because we've got a little treat for you after we speak to Sam at the moment. So, Sam, come down the front and have a chat with us just here. Sam, you're a professional actor, you're an MC, you're a dancer, you've been to university to study performing arts, you're a freelance facilitator in performing arts, but you've also delivered the Urban Skills programme in some of our prisons, such as Warrington, in Stoke-on-Trent in the Midlands. Just tell us a little bit, Sam, what encourages and inspires you about running Urban Skills in prison? What makes it so exciting?
Hi, by the way. I think on top of everything, I think the most thing that encourages me the most is seeing a transformation in the young people. As you may know, people that work in that field, it's not easy. You have your ups and downs, But I think seeing the transformation at the end is really, really shocking. I mean, when I first come in, you sort of got these young people that come in sort of like really reserved, not really want to get involved. And then by the end of it, you got them dancing around, doing drama. Yeah, what's next? So that's really powerful for me, and seeing their confidence and self-esteem. And these are life skills for the future as well. And the fact that, again, as Joe was saying, it's a sense of achievement. These young people some of them haven't even been to school, you know what I mean? And what we take for granted, a lot of people be like, a music video, that's not much, but for them, it's massive, and that's the start for them to progress in the future.
That's great. And what we often find within Reflex is that those actually who find it very hard to express themselves, perhaps academically or literally, actually find that performing arts provide a vehicle and a way of expressing themselves and teasing out a lot of their hurts, and part of the healing process and part of the creative expression involved in moving on with their journey can be done through performing arts. We really see that. And so Urban Skills is a key program of ours, and if there are any people here who are interested in being a facilitator on Urban and skills. We do have the next training course coming up in December, and you can find details out through our website, reflex.org. But in closing today, I want to show you the kind of thing, we want to show you and demonstrate to you the sort of thing that we can do and the sort of skills and the vehicles that we use to help people express both their hurts and their positive hopes for the future. And so Sam, this afternoon, for you ladies and gentlemen, to highlight the end of the day, is going to perform a piece that he's choreographed himself. And this is an example of the sort of thing he does. This piece is called Breaking Chains, and I hope you enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam McPherson. Thank you.
Everyone? Yeah.